Look at the behavior of all these politicians, ruling and oppositions, especially when they meet in the private meetings. You won't see them less than a comradeship establishing between them. So they are highly friendly with each other.
Yeah.
When they basically enter the parliament, it comes
They're
out that they are
against.
completely against and building up an animosity against, which is not, which is not manageable. And there is no process of reconciliation among them. But in reality, they are good friends.
Yeah.
For them, politics or policies are a mere tool to govern a society and to govern their own interest. So what they impose on us is their ideas, which has got nothing to do with the reality. And this is only possible only when you know things your own, when you read things your own. So engage your eyes, engage your voice, which is the only way out to read the things. And trust me, if you start reading books, you will know hundred of such things which will be a subject of admiration for you. Because when you read things up, you know this has been spoken by that person, this particular statement was given by that person, and then you are able to realize in the context they were spoken, and now you are using the same statement in this context. So you find that difference of context, and you are also able to know the interest which governs that context.
You should be sitting alone and you should be trying to know yourself first. If you don't know yourself, then the person doesn't know you actually. The whosoever is going to counsel, whosoever is going to tell you about your career choices, they may be talking about the options that are available, but they don't know what kind of ability do you have, right? So they'll be telling you based on your track record, right? Based on the kind of things you say to them, and on the basis of those things, they'll be forming an opinion. They'll be giving you some ready-made advice, and you will then be following them. But this is not the right way, as far as I know. I'm not saying this is universal. This is all what I think. And if I start understanding myself, I know my abilities, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. So I think if I become honest with myself, I can come up with some better choices, right? So I don't need people. Yes, they can guide me, but ultimately it's me who can decide what is going to be beneficial for me, right? Robin, nowadays what I see that every platform, everywhere you throw your glance at, everything is flooded with information. And when you consume a lot of information, but you find it difficult to filter it out, then it becomes a kind of a problem for you because you don't arrive the conclusion, you don't arrive the truth. If you are only consuming and not even trying to come up with your own thoughts, then this knowledge is going to be useless, right? And this is why I want you to say something about self-reading, because it's the first step towards realizing your own self, right? And until or unless we keep neglecting this process, we can never reach the truth. I've seen many people, I've seen myself as well. But suppose when I read book and I'm reading someone else's thoughts, someone else's experiences, and if I don't give it any thought of my own, then I will be highly influenced or heavily influenced by the other person's ideology. And this experience will become my ideology, and then I may be blindly following that person. So what I believe is, instead of following somebody, we should be trying to know the reality. We should be reaching the root. We should be trying to get to the depth, and then try to find out what we can uh, what we can get out of it. So before we go deeper into it, say a little about it, then we will be having some questions, and then I will be asking you to answer those questions.
So we are talking about self-reading practice and its significance in life.
Yeah.
Self-reading is really important for many reasons. Uh, I believe that once you read something your own, so you develop understanding about the event. Now, this understanding is quite a different understanding from that you learn from others' mouth.
Yeah.
That you must be very clear about it. Secondly, every teaching that you have is processed through your social conditions, your political conditions, your economic conditions. So,
Yeah.
for example, if I'm all dependent on other for my learnings, and I'm not reading by my own, then I am not just listening to that person, but I'm trying to understand it through their social and political and economic
Yeah.
conditions. So your habit, your perception, your way of looking at thing uh, are the core elements which forms one's personal, perception about
Perception.
concept of subject. So it's really risky and it's dangerous, by the way, if you don't read your own and you resort to someone else,
Hmm.
because the time when we rely on someone
Hmm.
else for this very purpose of reading,
Hmm.
then I think we are compromising on many uh, grounds and for many reasons I've already discussed about, but those grounds are that we are not dealing with the core part of the
Hmm.
subjects
Hmm.
what we basically want to, because our social conditions are not always the same as the other social condition or the economic condition.
Yeah.
So it's better to go along with our own personal understanding, and it is only possible when you read it through your own
Hmm.
eyes, through your own voices. Engagement, your voice and eyes with the reading is
Hmm.
what is called self-reading, and
Hmm.
that is what we must practice.
Hmm. As you said that, I'm reminded of one question which was asked by somebody to my guru. He said that um, there is a lot of political upheaval going in the country, and if people like you, because you are a spiritual master, if you come and say something about it, then we can have some kind of guidance.
Right.
Then what the response of my guru was, he says that these policymakers haven't sat with me. I don't know the that I haven't gone through that policy. I cannot form any opinion on based on the kind of things I'm
Right.
hearing and the kind of things I'm reading. I don't know the exact subject matter.
Right.
Then how can I form my opinion?
Hmm.
So if you want to form an opinion, then you should be going into the depth.
Right.
Only then you can come up with some good ideas,
Right.
right? So the first question which you're gonna answer me is, tell me what it means to be self-reader, because uh, as you are reading but you're not assimilating that knowledge, then there is no use of reading that particular thing which
Right.
you're
Right.
reading. So what it means to be a self-reader, does it include reading by self, or hold a deeper sense than this?
Okay, let me deal one by one. What is self-reading?
Yeah.
It's a process, by the way. And what kind of process is this? It is when you engage your eyes and voice while reading something.
Hmm.
So it means an engagement with book, okay? And this is where you do it your own and you are not resorting to someone else. So there is no dependency on other or any reliance on other for this
Hmm.
very purpose, right?
Hmm.
So one thing is very clear that self-reading is when you act of reading, right? Now, what it involves many things we have already discussed. It involves your habit of understanding, it involves your perceptions. How do you take things? How do you perceive things? Everyone has their different way of looking at things, the world.
Hmm.
For example, the way I see the world is not the same as you, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So it is quite an applicable thing to the reading, perspective, because the way I understand a certain thing might not be the same as you understand. So it's better to understand things your own first.
Hmm.
Now, what kind of importance it holds? It's the next question. It's a great degree of, importance, a great degree of significance that it holds. And what that great degree is, that for that, I would first formulate a kind of base
Hmm.
on which I'll try to, just extend my argument. Our scripture deals with intention, which
Hmm.
means we centralize intention.
Yeah.
So centralizing of intention is the basic and the most fundamental part of our scripture. For example, we don't care about how someone acts
Hmm.
as long as we don't know what exactly the intention that governs that act.
Yes.
The same philosophy, the same rule is or equally acceptable in the law ground. So, for example, crime, an act of offense, becomes an offense only when there is a guilty mind,
Yes.
which we call mens rea.
Hmm.
So, if there is no involvement of mens rea, there is no crime. So,
Hmm.
therefore, we have sections in criminal code such as you have a self defense,
Hmm.
because you don't want to kill someone. You don't have this intention to kill someone,
But
but
it
you are
just
doing
happened
it just
because
because of someone is
you're
killing you,
defending yourself.
defending yourself.
Hmm.
So, for example, even you are sleeping at night
Hmm.
and someone knocks the door. in some untimely hours. So you might get afraid of this. You might get some, some thief or some burglar might come to. So you just go and just hit that. So in this all, activities and those, you kill them. So you were not intent to kill that person, but it happened. So you are not going to face any sanction by the criminal code. That's what it is. Similarly, when we read certain things, then we know our intention. We know the clarity. We know why we are reading it, and we also know what are biases. What are those political conditions? What are those economic, conditions, or the reasons, the social reasons, which are shaping our understanding about the subject?
Yes.
And it happens with everyone. So if you rely on someone else for learning the concept, for knowing the concept, then possibly the same person would be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
He would be applying the same formula. He would be doing that. He would be understanding things according to their social condition, according to their requirements. What
Yes.
exactly fits them? What exactly gives and extends benefits to them?
People
So
bend the rules
obviously,
when they
it
just
is
to suit them.
Human are by nature selfish. Humans are inherited with four defects, as what is narrated in Bhagavad Gita itself.
Yeah.
So cunning and tell a lie are those two. So therefore, we must not forget that when you read book your own, at least you know your intention for reading it.
Yes.
And you know that you are wrong at some place. You at least have a chance to remove that, or you have a chance to remove that evil aspect of your reading, right?
Yeah.
But you cannot do in other cases. So this holds really much significance in this. If you rely on other people, that someone comes and teaches you certain thing, then imagine what kind of teaching you are going to beg. The teaching will be according to his will, according to his interest, and then you will be trapped into this, which means that you will have an idea, but that idea would be somewhere a little bit tilted in his favor.
Yes.
And I think that we must be very careful about, conscious about, because it only creates certain kind of environment where you are governed by the intentions and the influence of others. So you have you don't have your choices.
Yeah.
Today we call that I have my opinion, but if I truly ask myself, is my opinion mine, then I may say no, it's not my
It's
opinion.
influenced.
It's completely influenced because I got influence. I admire someone to that extent.
Yes.
That
And whatever he or she does,
yes,
that becomes your own opinion.
so imagine if someone has read something and he or she is narrating something about
With
it
authority.
with authority.
Yeah.
So even that's what Gautam Buddha says. Don't accept everything what I say to you
Yes.
until you go through first. So your first priority is to just go through first, read, and then accept it. If you find it's not appropriate, it doesn't fit with your requirements, or how do you see the world doesn't match with that, then leave it.
Yes.
So you're not going to be just bound by the rules I have just laid down.
Yes.
So this is not an establishment of authority at all. Yeah.
That's correct. There, I generally get to know or get to see actually that students are heavily reliant, or they are relying too much on the counselors. There is one term called counseling,
Okay.
right? And they just go to these people to know what career choice they should be making, right? And I simply say that why don't you sit somewhere in loneliness. I mean, you should be sitting alone and you should be trying to know yourself first. If you don't know yourself, then the person doesn't know you actually. The whosoever is going to counsel, whosoever is going to tell you about your career choices, they may be talking about the options that are available, but they don't know what kind of ability do you have,
Right.
right? So they'll be telling you based on your track record, right? Based on the kind of things you say to them, and on the basis of those things they'll be forming an opinion, they'll be giving you some ready-made advice,
Right.
and you will then be following them. But this is not the right way, as far as I know. I'm not saying this is universal. This is all what I think. And if I start understanding myself, I know my abilities, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. So I think if I become honest with myself, I can come up with some better choices,
Right.
right? So I don't need people. Yes, they can guide me, but ultimately it's me who can decide
Right.
what is going to be beneficial for me, right? So that's why when you sit down and read something, you are reading somebody else's experiences, but you have to be very critical. You have to use that critical thinking, critical analysis, and then you'll be able to reach to
Right.
the conclusion which is going to suit you, the conclusion which is going to benefit you
Right.
somewhere along the lines. The next thing which you'll tell me is that how does it set a course towards realization of a thing in itself? I'm talking about reading. So how
Okay.
does it set a course?
Okay. 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 I think is in itself is little bit complex
Hmm.
phrase.
Hmm.
So it's better to clear about this very phrase. It's a journey. It is also, defined. The same phrase is also, narrated in German language, which
Hmm.
means is das Ding in sich, which means the thing in itself.
Hmm.
Now, it really holds a deeper sense of meaning. And what is that? That everything has its own specific existence.
Yes.
But what makes this existence colorful is our imagination, and
Yeah.
our imagination is governed by our personal whims and fancies,
Hmm.
as I told you, which
Hmm.
is basically governed by social, economical, and political
Hmm.
conditions. So, whatever the things we meet in our life, any subject or the concept in our life, we try to see and examine and do an analysis on the basis of our conditions, the
Hmm.
surroundings, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
We really don't see that the way it is.
Hmm.
So this particular question only means is that we need to learn, see things the way it is,
Hmm.
without adding knowledge
Hmm.
or without subtracting anything from it.
Hmm.
So if you face a certain event, just see the way it is. For example, what Gautam Buddha says in this part, that if you suffer any drastic change in your life which is quite an abominable, which is quite tragic or tragic
Yeah,
for
tragic.
you,
Hmm.
then in that case you must not be praying God for that. It must just be out of your life as soon as
Hmm.
possible.
Hmm.
You must not be praying for God is that God, please relieve me from this suffering,
Hmm.
because when more you pray for this relief, the better the greater in intensification it becomes.
Yeah.
This is really a core
This will become
part
more
of
and more intense.
Buddha's teaching,
Hmm.
because suffering is not that much intense.
We don't pray to God just
Y-
to eliminate those sufferings from our life.
yes, yes,
It
yes.
is a kind of connection that we are building.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Gautam Buddha simply says that you have any a moment of happiness, you
Hmm.
enjoy that happiness
Hmm.
without adding or demanding that,
It should
please,
stay forever
it
with
should stay
me.
forever or it should be
Yeah.
extended
Yeah.
at some more time.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you have any suffering, don't pray for it should be somewhere banished in your life,
Hmm.
because the time when you have this very extra, I kind of it's a prayer, right?
Hmm.
Then I think it's going to spoil everything.
Hmm.
So the same thing,
Because we are expecting more.
hi. Obviously, expectation is what that really
It always gives
it's a
pain.
curse, I think.
Yeah, it's always gives pain. When
Pains,
you expect a lot, you are
obviously,
actually setting yourself up for misery.
obviously,
Hmm.
because expectations, especially from your even own people, your kith
Hmm.
and kin, or from anything, I
Hmm.
think it brings just suffering and nothing
Hmm.
else.
Hmm.
So don't expect anything from people, except the way it is.
Yeah, this actually happens because the person doesn't know how
Hmm.
much you expect from them, but
Hmm.
you have just built those expectations on your own,
Yes,
and they are unaware of this.
they are
And when
unaware.
this happens, then you are shattered actually, and
Obviously.
then you find it difficult to rise again.
Or sometimes you make a certain thing habit,
Hmm. Yeah.
okay, and let the person feel that it's habit, and then
Hmm.
you someday break that,
Hmm.
then you will be called as a violation
Hmm.
of expectations, because
Hmm.
you first of all have started something
Hmm.
in favor of a person, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden you just just break it in between,
Hmm.
then you will be a spoiler of this.
Yeah. Definitely.
So this is how people
Yeah.
perceive things
This is
in
very correct.
reality.
And as you said that we should not be believing people so easily.
Hmm.
We should be applying that reasoning that
Hmm.
God has given us. I've seen this oftentimes that those who are very rich, those who are very successful, they're generally found not believing in God, right?
Hmm.
They simply say that I don't really believe in God. And when I say that I believe in God, then people say, what's the proof? Why do
Right.
you believe in God? And I simply say, why should I just subscribe to your
Hmm.
ideology? If you are preparing for UPSC, if you're preparing for JEE and
Hmm.
other exams, you are having to study for 10 hours, 12 hours,
Right.
14 hours a day, and then you are supposed to be cracking those exams. and you're simply worshiping God for 1 minute and 2 minutes and expecting God to be manifesting in front of you.
Mm.
How can that be possible, right? So you should, no matter how what position they are holding,
Mm.
what how famous they are, how popular they are,
Mm.
but you should not be believing people or believing in the things
Mm.
that they say. You should be applying your reasoning. You should
Mm.
be applying your critical thinking,
Right.
right? And this is something which can give you the unfiltered
Mm.
reality. Otherwise, people are just talking about things which are somewhere going to benefit them,
Right. Right.
right? As you said that people are by default
Yeah.
selfish,
Selfish. By
right?
default, they are
Yeah. So
selfish.
they just want things to be in their favor,
Right.
and if and they can use any means.
Obviously.
They can get it done by hook or by crook, because
Absolutely.
somewhere they just want to get benefited.
So the things which I wanted to make in this, that when you say self-realization through reading,
Hmm.
it means is that you're not opening room for other to come in
Hmm.
your ambit and to
Yeah.
teach you
Yes.
how you should understand a certain thing. Because
Hmm.
self-realization as an experience happens when you go through
Hmm.
using your own mindset, using
Hmm.
your own limitations, using
Hmm.
your own perception,
Hmm.
habits, whatsoever you
Hmm.
say.
Yeah.
Because this is the only way as a
Hmm.
medium that actually takes you through the process
Hmm.
and just gives you this experience of
Hmm.
meeting with certain sort of super divinity.
Hmm.
So therefore, we always say that self-realization as a process, which is called the thing in itself, is
Hmm.
only possible when you just deny the reliance
Hmm.
of or deny the reliance of external factor,
Hmm.
okay, to teach you certain thing.
Hmm.
Because if you do that, I think you are always in a better position. Remember, people really don't see this as a reality, but it has become a brutal reality of society. We have stopped learning things from our own personal experiences. We
Hmm.
are more tilted
Dependent on other.
towards on other experiences
Yes.
just because of someone has been given a certain status in a society,
Hmm. Or they're
because
holding some positions.
some positions and that position has been quite highlighted.
Hmm.
Okay, so we have given them a kind of acknowledgement.
Hmm.
This is the major problem. It's not that 100 people have given a certain acknowledgement to certain authority. It doesn't mean that it should be applied to all.
Hmm.
And if you are careful about and conscious about, then it's all enough.
Yeah, I'm reminded of,
Hmm.
something I cannot say directly, but someone comes and says that eat this and the whole world will be at your feet.
Yeah.
So is this going to be
Uh,
for someone, who is holding some authority in the society is saying something, and I would be, no, I would be,
these people are very clever.
yeah,
They make people do that thing,
yeah,
and people blindly follow that
hmm,
because they follow it because they give them a kind of hoodwinks. Then, if you do
hmm,
that, you will be reaching
hmm,
to some higher, destination of your life.
hmm.
But it's not
Yeah,
possible.
that's not possible. You
Yeah.
said it right when you said that when you ask somebody else to teach you something, to explain something to you, whatever they do or they will do will be based on their own
Hmm.
perceptions.
Right.
Whatever they have felt, whatever they have realized, they'll be teaching you on the basis of that. But when
Obviously.
you do the reading on your
Obviously.
own, you'll come up with your own ideas, you'll
Right.
come up with your own
Hmm.
realizations and your own reality. And while reading something, you should be keeping those biases
Right.
aside, keeping all those learnings which you
Right.
have already had, and
Obviously.
you have to keep them aside. Then you'll be reaching the reality.
And if it is really a matter of competition,
Hmm.
then I think it's better to be more careful about this competition,
Hmm.
because someone else is proving his authority on you
Yes.
using his biases and
Hmm.
just instilling his biases in you.
Hmm.
So if you have already realized it, why we should not do the same behavior? If I am trying to be more materialistic, so it's better I just should read things by my own, and I
Hmm.
will use my own parameters to analyze the things, to investigate the things, and will do it in my favor. So at
Yeah.
least people are doing things in their own favor. Why should I not do the same thing?
Yes.
So even from that aspect, self-study, self-reading is more important, even for gaining that spiritual height in your life and even for the material height in your life.
Yes.
Remember, people who have attained the material height in their life are also the one who are self-reader. And
Hmm.
people who have attained the spiritual height in their life, they are also the self-reader. So this
Hmm.
is a common ground which is
Hmm.
touching and meeting on this point where both the people are meeting.
Mm.
So we mustn't.
You can see how people are, you know, you can say they are somehow playing with the emotions of other people because
Right.
they know they're somewhere in lower position
Lower
than
position.
them. You might have seen many spiritual gurus who are
Hmm.
so-called spiritual gurus. I'm not talking about those who are
Ah.
real, but I'm talking about those who are
Hmm.
faking
Hypocrite
being.
these are.
They are hypocrites, right?
Right.
they say that leave this the whole world is illusion. The money you are making is also illusion. You should be leaving that, but they themselves are making money. So there are statements, here they are self-contradictory,
Right.
right? So you should not be believing everybody, right?
Right.
And I think when somebody talks about something that they themselves don't do, they are a hypocrite.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? If I ask you to be disciplined, but I'm very rowdy in my behavior, how can I even say,
Right.
how can I even expect you to be well behaved and disciplined?
Obviously.
I'm somewhere around, I should be considered to be a hypocrite.
Right. This is
No
this
matter.
is this is what is called selfless in people.
Yeah.
We want people to behave justly with you,
Hmm.
but when your turn comes,
Yes.
you become completely irresponsible, a miss,
This
and which
is
is called, cancellation of reciprocity, which
Yeah,
means
that
you
is
are not
very
following the
correct.
reciprocity rule,
Yes.
right?
When somebody says that this person is very nice, so I'm simply saying this person is very nice to me.
Hmm.
The person can be very bad to other, the person can be bad, and especially for the people. But if he or she is nice to me, it means the person is nice. So
Yeah.
don't you see the selfishness,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
height of selfishness?
Hmm.
I'm very selfish. The next thing which you have to talk about is how different philosophies, but not all, may be shining beacons for us to set the right course.
This question often, just reminds me the very complex, question. And what is that complex question? That there are number of philosophies in the world,
Yeah.
and each philosophy is held with certain degree of equilibrium,
Hmm.
state, right?
Yeah.
For example, you cannot say that this philosophy is better than that
Yeah.
philosophy. Every philosophy or every follower of any particular philosophy has their own strong reason to follow that,
Yes.
and they can prove it.
Hmm.
So someone can prove Western philosophy
Hmm.
using Western, ideas
Hmm.
as a part of their arguments. I mean, I come from Eastern philosophy, so I
Hmm.
have strong arguments too. I can, just make a headway.
Hmm.
But both of them are meeting with their requirements, and they successfully, justifying their parts.
Hmm.
So one thing is very clear on this part is that no one is better than other. This
Hmm.
is one is which is very
Hmm.
clear. Now, what then the other possible situation which might exist is that there might be a certain positive thing in one philosophy, and the
Hmm.
same is other.
Yeah.
So what we are to behave and how we are to behave in this way, that we are to behave to get the most finest part
Hmm.
of all philosophies
Hmm.
and compile your own philosophy,
Hmm.
which will be a philosophy from all.
Hmm.
Okay, which philosophy from all, which means you have taken elements from all philosophy, right?
Hmm.
So therefore I sometimes feel that why we should not adopt this very attitude, that where we start taking things from every philosophy, the bestest part of it, and compile our own philosophy, because
Hmm.
this will really create something more, powerful as a scripture, as a
Hmm.
philosophy,
Hmm.
if you can call a rule of a ruling, I mean, a book of rule, right?
Hmm.
So it could be even then
Hmm.
this.
That is
So
correct.
I think we must behave in that. Now the question is that how these different philosophies could be shining beacons.
Beacon, yeah.
So this is how they could be shining beacons. For example, that if you learn something from one philosophy,
Hmm.
for you it is really a teacher,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
If you learn second thing from different philosophy, it will also be given equal treatment. So
Hmm.
you're not disregarding any philosophy,
Yes.
but what you are doing instead, you are giving respect from
Yes.
your side.
Yes.
So therefore in this respect, we can say that all the philosophies are somewhere turning to be shining beacons for you. And
Hmm.
I think this is quite acceptable in human society, because
Hmm.
the time when you prove your supremacy over other, it really creates conflicts.
And this shows that you are rigid.
You are rigid.
Right?
Rigidity has no
Yeah,
place.
I read some lines in Tao Te Ching. This
Hmm.
is Chinese philosophy that when you die, you are rigid, and as long as you are alive, you are flexible. So
Obviously.
if you want to be alive, then you have to be flexible in terms
Obviously.
of accepting, the principles, the ideologies, and all those things which are good, especially for you and for the society at large.
Right. What that's rigidity also means is that you are showing stubbornness according to the changing conditions of society. Your requirement from society is different,
Yeah.
but you are so much stubborn that you're not intent to change yourself,
Yes.
because somewhere has been written something which denies you, or which basically prohibits you to change yourself. So in this way you are becoming more rigid, and I think if you become rigid, then I think it's the fatal destination that you are going to invite. And it happens with people. Even our constitution is on
It keeps
sometimes
changing.
it
It
keeps
keeps
changing.
changing
There
as
are
per the requirement.
the number of amendments have been
Yeah.
done in
Yes.
last 75 years. It shows the flexible nature of the constitution,
Hmm.
which also accept that the society is on continuous changing path, which we have to adopt it. And adoption is possible when you bring a different rules or little bit amendments in the rulings.
See the changes in education as well.
Education system.
Even the teachers have changed because they had to change.
Mm.
They had to change because it was the need of the hour.
Obviously.
And if they don't come to terms with these changes, they will be nowhere.
Earlier, the main focus was on cramming.
Yeah.
People were mugging up things.
Yes.
For example, if you wanted to practice your brain, people were given and flooded with this kinds of sums, mathematical sums,
Yes.
just to practice their calculation. But today, it is considered to be a wasting of time.
Yes.
When you have calculators, when you have instruments such as computer, then you can process it in nanosecond.
Yes.
So the timing that you are saving could be applied in some more worthy task. So that's how you are doing. So even the education and its information and its aspects is also having a multiple facets, which we encounter day to day. And it is also on a continuous path. Tomorrow you will have a different pattern of
Yeah,
education.
definitely. And you have to mold yourself accordingly.
Obviously.
For
So
example, if I'm a teacher and if I'm just teaching in the same way as I've been teaching, and I'm not utilizing the technology, then I will not be able to reach out to the people out,
obviously.
in other countries. So I'll have to utilize and I'll have to adapt myself to the changing
Right,
circumstances.
right.
Only then I will be able to survive. As you say, it is said that survival of the fittest.
Right, survive.
If you are not actually changing as per the requirements or as per the circumstances, you will be nowhere. Right.
Right,
So
right.
this is important.
Our Vedanta says that God is one, but it can be called by different names.
Yeah.
So you can say philosophies might be different,
Yes.
but their destination is same.
All roads lead to Rome.
Oh yes, all roads lead to the Rome. Yes,
Yeah.
this is the finest
Yes.
shloka, which basically suits this situation.
Yeah.
So following this process, I think we can call that all philosophies are somewhere
Yes.
play a
Names
crucial
may be
role.
different,
Names will be
but
different.
the destination
Yes,
is only
you can
one.
call Buddha or even Shankaracharya
Even
or
Krishna.
Krishna or even Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Everyone is
Every incarnation
yes,
says the same thing.
absolutely.
Yeah. Then last but not the least, the question is, tell me, how does the practice self-reading advance you umbrella protection against a politically quoted versions of a certain event?
I think this is quite a common experience, and it's a general one, by the way, because today things have become more political. We are dealing things uh, according to what we are told, not according to how we should really deal with that. So, self reading as a practice comes out to be a major instrument or a help, an assistance in this very regard, where you can not only develop your insight, your wisdom about the surroundings, but also you'll be careful about those evil operations that you don't know, but it is surfacing and it is trying to grapple you with, and it is there to just deviate you from your objectives, which you have decided for your life. And that is what is happening today. So we are unnecessarily being dragged and embroiled into the matter,
Yeah.
which is not at least at all a matter. For
Yes.
example, we say that religion or this kind of things have been a little bit or problematic for society, because people are confronting each other on the grounds of religion. But it is being shown to us on the ground. But if you really want to see the reality, then after finding the data through NCRB data, then you will find crimes pertaining to religion is minimal, which stands 0.01 out of 100, which means total number of crimes which are happening or taking place in a society, out of which 0.1% is shared by only communal violence based on religion conflict. So remember, now imagine 99.9%, crimes are basically coming from a different, social, political, or economical, activities. You can say it's a result of social, economical, and political activities.
Yes.
But it is being shown to us as it is the only reality exists.
Mm.
So my only concern is that when you read things up, you exactly know where the problem lies. Until
Mm.
you know the problem exists and what the problem is, you may think that this is a problem, and you may also have a solution, but both are at least a time spoiling,
Mm.
process. It is a time wasting process, because neither the solution is appropriate, because you have found out certain problem which is not a problem itself.
Mm.
So you
That's
have to
correct.
be very much clear about the problem,
Mm.
and then initiate this very path of finding out solution for it.
Mm.
Because the time you select your problem which is absolutely wrong at all, and it has no existence, even if it is existing,
Mm.
but not that much. So I think it's be very, I think it has to be very clear about.
If you have done a lot of self-research, your
Hmm.
mind is now clear.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been reading people's ideas but
Hmm.
not, criticizing them,
Ah,
or you can say evaluating them,
yeah.
then you will have muddled head. I
Yeah.
mean, you're confused somewhere, and a
Muddled head.
confused mind can never reach the
Yeah.
right conclusion. As
Obviously.
you see that how riots take place
Hmm.
because somebody is spreading rumor, and
Hmm.
we just start believing them, even without knowing we are participating.
Right.
And this is how the situation becomes
Right.
uncontrollable.
Right.
And these riots, those who are actually willing to make these things happen, they are quite happy because
Obviously.
they are succeeded, they have succeeded in their efforts
Yes.
or in their
Obviously.
intentions.
They are really doing that. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the behavior of all these politicians, ruling and oppositions, especially when they meet in the private meetings.
Hmm.
You won't see them less than a comradeship
Hmm.
establishing between them. So they are highly friendly with each other.
Yeah.
When they basically enter the parliament,
Hmm.
it comes
They're
out that they are
against.
completely against, and
Hmm.
building up an animosity against,
Hmm.
which is not, which is not manageable, and there is no process of reconciliation among them. But in
Hmm.
reality, they are good friends.
Yeah.
For them, politics or policies are a mere tool to govern a society and to govern their own interest. So
Hmm.
what they impose on us is their ideas, which has got nothing to do with the reality.
Hmm.
And this is only possible only when you know things your own, when you read things your own. So engage your eyes, engage your voice,
Hmm.
which is the only way out to
Hmm.
read the things. And trust me, if you start reading books, you will know hundred of such things which will be a subject of admiration for you,
Hmm.
because when you read things up, you know this has been spoken by that person, this particular statement was given by that person,
Hmm.
and then you are able to realize in the context they were spoken, and
Hmm.
now you are using the same statement in this context, so you find that difference
Hmm.
of context,
Hmm.
and you are also able to know the interest which governs that context.
Hmm.
So that's how you understand the politics and its function in a society.
Mm, that's very correct. And this can only happen if we are being true to ourselves and we are utilizing. Why are we, why did
Hmm.
we get education?
Right, right, right.
Just to analyze things. And
Analyze
if we are
things.
not using this education, we are not utilizing this education, then it's of no use.
Hmm.
We have just wasted so many years of our life. We read books just to score marks, just to get a job, but
Hmm.
not to differentiate things.
Right.
And that's important. You should be able to differentiate. You should be able to say right from wrong.
Hmm.
And this is where your education has a role to play. And I think let it play its role. And
Right.
you have to start doing these kind of things in your life.
Actually, this very felt necessity that in this very hectic and this very full of competition society, it's always good to save our time.
Hmm.
And in this process of saving time, what people have established this trend is that they have shifted from reading to listening.
Hmm.
So these days we have applications
Hmm.
which are actually just reading a certain book on you
Hmm.
about the subjects, about everything.
Hmm.
And it is also saving time. So, for example, if you take, I mean, 3 days, or let's say minimum 6 days or a week to complete one book, that application will help you to complete in 2 or 3 hours.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you may say that you have read books, but in reality, you haven't.
Yes, you have just listened to the
You
book.
have listened to the book.
Yeah, because
You,
there are audiobooks
you
available.
haven't grasped the very
No,
content.
say, what people are doing. They have gotten those audiobooks. They are walking. They are
This is
hitting the gym. They're listening. How can you have your mind in that
be
position?
concentrated.
Yeah. How can you concentrate your mind? You're doing several things,
Yeah.
and how can you get to the point?
and
This is
and and
impossible.
then what is even more ironical is that, I mean, I was always taught that reading means reading between the lines. And you are listening to certain thing, and that too with a lot of engagement at the
Yeah,
same time.
you are multitasking,
Yes.
and then you are supposing yourself to be able to get all those things
So it means you
properly.
are not just listening to, but also you are trying to grasp the very, very hidden, hidden meaning of that. So
Hmm.
I think it's not possible.
It's not possible really
Hmm.
because I've felt it myself.
Yeah.
Whenever I read any book and I find that there is a noise going around,
It
I
is.
don't, I find it difficult to
It
concentrate
is
because
impossible.
somewhere I get distracted.
Hmm.
And you are listening to the audiobook
Hmm.
and you are walking, you are
Hmm.
driving, you are doing
Hmm.
exercise.
For
Is it
for for
possible?
for a casual reader,
Yeah.
trust me, I mean this habit of yours is somewhat similar to mine.
Hmm.
Because those who are deep and a very devouring reader, which means who have an avidity of certain
Hmm.
kind of reading,
Hmm.
so they really don't compromise their readings with this.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they will read only things when they are in a state where there is no as such chaos.
Yes.
Because reading subjects and the concepts are just like fodder for your
It
intellect.
requires your full engagement.
Yes, intellectual engagement.
Yeah.
It should not be divided and deviated
If
through
you're
this.
reading
Yup.
with scattered mind,
Yup.
this is going to
It
be
is.
impossible,
It is
right?
impossible.
So no, with this I am going to wrap this show up, and this was something which we would just wanted to bring up to the to the people and the audience, that reading opens up doors for your your you can say you can go places, you can try to know the people,
Hmm.
and this is only going to be possible when you have your own ideas, you're not influenced by anybody, right? And reading is something which can give you this ability,
Right.
because I've felt it myself. He has also felt it
Yeah,
himself,
obviously.
and I think everyone who is an avid reader has felt
Right.
themselves as well. So this is really going to help you a lot, and you can then not you will not be influenced by people so easily, because you now you have learned to analyze, to
Right.
criticize, to conclude
Right. Right.
on your own, right? You will not be dependent
Right.
on
Right.
anybody, right? So with this, I'm gonna wrap this show up, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Till then, take care.
Bye.